evening, good evening, good evening. Who slaps your ass in a playful manner but then makes it smell what's on their hand? It's us, the Thursday Night Podcast. American Scouser TV, ASTV Tinnipa for the cool kids. Joined by Suzie and Cozzy tonight. No, Brian, he's feeling sick as a dog, but not as sick as we are after yesterday's result, which we will talk about in a roundabout way. But Cozzy, how are you?
Wonderful. Yes, it's very American Scouser with no American. We have a Scouser, but no American.
Yeah, no American.
Yeah.
We'll have to be eating. Well, I mean, I've eaten enough apple pie for everybody, so I'm sure we're okay. Brian says the evening, guys. Good to see Brian. Suzie, how are you?
I'm good, Macka. Thanks. How you doing, fellas?
I think we're doing okay, but let's start controversially. We're in a funk. I think we're in a funk. I've said it before. I think there's something not quite right with the team right now, and I believe this constitutes a dip at this point. I didn't get to see the game live. I've only watched the highlights so far for the Forest game, but we went the whole half with 71% possession and not a single shot on target. And you can't win titles without getting shots on target, because if you don't get shots on target, you don't get goals. Now, by all accounts, for people who watched it as it happened, the second half was an enormous improvement on the first half. But yet again, we're still chasing a goal back. We're still conceding early goals. We're still conceding goals we shouldn't be conceding. Cozzy, I think we're at the same mentality, and we've been around the block a few times. I'm a big fan of Arne Slot, but right now he's not finding the solutions we need, is he?
No, the slow starts are killing us. You can't keep expecting to win games of football playing well for 30 minutes in games. It's just not possible. Eventually you get found out, and Liverpool are being found out. Before people say, you've only lost 1 and 6 or something. Well, in the league, we've drawn 4 out of 7. And draws kill really bad.
Yep.
So, for example, out those 4 games, you get 4 points. I'd rather win 2, lose 2. That's why draws kill. Yeah. So, it's frustrating, it really is. And I think there's a few things that the manager has to change. Number one, I think it's the last time we see Diaz down the middle. Doesn't work properly. It really affects Salah. I think he's coming too deep, which is affecting Salah's run. So runs in behind in a way he doesn't know when to go. And then also, I don't think Szoboszlai is getting beyond him enough like he did against Spurs. When Szoboszlai was really a bit beyond, I don't think he can do that often. The worst part about it is, mate, like we speak about this Forest game and how much it's frustrated the manager and things like that. And we did everything you could possibly do to play in their hands for 45 minutes. Like, did everything. Like, if you're playing against the low block, the one thing they want you to do is shoot from outside the box. Liverpool has 6 shots from outside the box in like the opening 20 minutes. And by the way, not one was even close to the target. Horrifically bad shots. Professional football players who can't even get it on target from 25 yards, lads. Like, and they had space. They had the space to get a shot on target. Not even blocked by the defenders, hitting them wide and over. Awful. And then the Jota sub, which he probably should have done at half time. I said this on the post-match. He is now as important as Salah and Van Dijk to Liverpool. That's how important he is now. We have to manage that lad as genuinely as clear-cut as you can get. We're at the stage, if you go 2-0 up in a league game, you sub him. And just go, you're 2-0 lads, he's done his part, and you sub him and just get him out the team. And you can only play league games. You might be able to squeeze that League Cup semi in, and then he's just doing league. You cannot do another cup game. Probably only 70s or 80s in the league. Because that's how important he is. He's the only one who moves like a striker, like in the box. Like, you can see the chances that he had. He had 2 other chances, by the way. The one from Celtic is unbelievable. It's a joke of a save. It is inside of his leg. And then Aina kind of clears it off the line. Unbelievable save. But he's the only one who kind of like reads that and anticipates it. Do you know what I mean? Like, even like the goal, everyone keeps talking about the goal, how quick it was. He comes on, he sees Murillo take 2 steps forward, he just took 2 steps back. So smart, and just go, well, if you're not going to win the header, I'll cut the header. And that's what good football players do. They use the brain, Matt. We keep saying every week about McAllister. By the way, he was really poor. I fought against Forest. But use your brains. So it's frustrating, Matt. And I've got a feeling that Brentford game on the weekend is now the Liverpool's biggest game this season. It really is. And I don't think we'll play a bigger one. And I mean, if apart from a Champions League final, I don't think you'll play a bigger one in terms of getting that momentum back now. For Brentford have lost 3 on the bounce before the City game at home. So they haven't won 4 at home. They're starting to drop a little bit from the early morning form that we've seen early on the season. So it's a big, big game of footy, fella, and I am bricking it.
I mean, a good maybe 8 weeks ago, when we were looking like we could get 14 points ahead and really pull away, we wouldn't have thought the game against Brentford would be the biggest game of the season. But it would be such a shot in the arm, wouldn't it, Suzy, if we managed to win that, given the form we're in, because we're not dominating games anymore. The control seems to be gone. Am I wrong on that? We were lauding the amount of control we had, the raffle-like squeeze on the game we had at the start of the season, but that's gone now. It's like teams figure out if they can get an early goal on us, we're in trouble, because we don't have enough goal scorers outside of Salah who can magic goals out of nowhere. Well, am I wrong on that?
No, you're absolutely right. I think up until yesterday, I wasn't really worried, despite the Forest result. We played a good team in a second for a reason. So let's be real there. I think as Kazi said a couple of months ago, all we need to do is match the teams around us. But now that Arsenal won yesterday, it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on us. And all right, we're 6 points ahead with the game in hand, but that game in hand is against Everton. And Everton can lose every other single game for the rest of the season, but they're going to give it all against us. And so that's what we're facing. The biggest problem is, I think, like I said, if our forwards aren't scoring, we don't have enough goals from the rest of the field. We don't have enough goals coming from midfield. And as much as Szoboszlai is important to us, and he's shown that it's important to us, because when he's not playing, we're crying out for him. But he needs goals, and he needs to be able to assist. He needs to be better on the ball. McAllister didn't have his best game yesterday, and he was given a rest. But I mean, it just feels like everyone's kind of dipped in form at the same time, and whether that's tiredness or whether that's mental fatigue, I really don't know. I mean, bigger picture, we've only lost 1 game this season, and the Man United game felt like a loss. That's how far we've come, and that's how much Man United have fallen. But the Forest game, I'm okay with the result. There is the Arsenal game is a bit of a kick in the nuts. In regards to that, but Brentford is the biggest game of the season now. And we just have to get 3 points out of that.
I want to give a Suzy there, by the way. I don't mind the result. The point is fine. It's the performance which is frustrating me. Do you know what I mean? It's the performances in these games. It's the lack of intensity in the first half to really get going. Do you know what I mean? And yes, we are 4 points clear with the game in hand. So if we have this conversation next Thursday when Liverpool could lose to Brentford and then Arsenal win, then we go, "Well, you're still 1 point clear with the game in hand." No, they've started to claw it back. You can't win 3 and 7 in the league. Whether you just can't do that. And I expect just really, keep kind of going on the route that you're going and relying on Spurs to beat Arsenal. And by the way, we haven't lost 1; we lost 2 because Spurs beat us last week.
Yeah.
In this little weird run. So and again, I keep mentioning this about managing the squad, and I think the manager's done a really good job up until this point in terms of manager. But now it's time to trust the other lads. Trust them. Can't you trust Endo for starting a game? And couldn't you, for example?
I mean, Brentford would be an ideal game for Endo to have a game, isn't it?
Ipswich is home next week. Ipswich at home, you can't do Endo, McAllister, and Szoboszlai and give Gravenberch a day off. I just feel like he's not doing it. You know what I mean? He's not trusting those lads. Now, we have a misfiring number 9. We all know what we're getting out of him. And then you've got Diaz, who, again, I'm the biggest Diaz doubter in the world. And so your starting front 3 is going to be Gakpo, Jota, and Salah. And then the other 2, I would say, are not in great form. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like he has to start. Yeah, we have to start quicker in games again. That's the issue here. Can't remember the last time we probably scored in the first half.
Yeah.
Let me throw an idea at you, Cozzy.
Go on.
We might be better off if we. I agree with you with Joe too. We have to manage his minutes because he's just a diamond of a player. He's like I hate to say it this way, but he's the Gary Lineker of this Liverpool team. He's just so smart in where he has to be to get the ball in the back of the net. Plus with work rate, which Gary Lineker never had. He just ate too many crisps. But if we trust Darwin Núñez up front, we're in trouble. That's my opinion. It's been my opinion for a long time. If he's the number 9, we're in trouble. But if we put Dan's up there, who has a point to prove and a hunger to get minutes, maybe seeing somebody having that energy might give the rest of the players a kick up the ass. Because I think you're right. I think Diaz spoils other people's. It was a nice experiment because nobody knew what was going on with him. But now they worked out that he just runs wherever. He's just smaller Darwin Núñez at number 9. Positionally, just going everywhere. And it is killing other people's spaces. But Dan's is a proper number 9. Like, he plays like a real number 9. Plus, he gets goals.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's say that experiment.
In the context of trusting your squad is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think it's like the manager wants to experiment doing this, where you've got a few games coming up where you can do that. Go back to trusting the squad. So I just feel like, for example, you got the Lille game, PSV away, Plymouth. You've got a couple of games there where you could start down and take a little look at the lad. There's also a part of this as well, lads, where Liverpool did turn down a bit from Saudi Arabia for Darwin Núñez. So where it was a £70 million bill, Liverpool turned it down. By the way, before people say that was insane, I actually think it's the right decision. I know I'm saying that's the right decision. I think this is in the middle of the season. I won't be doing Darwin Núñez right now unless you've got a replacement, or you really back Jadon Dance. So, which I don't think. By the way, I don't think there's nada to that. I don't think there's nada because he doesn't even trust Harvey Elliott to get minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, I just think we're in a bit of a part now where the manager has to twist a little bit. They've got the data on, That's the other part. You surprised people early on in the season when clubs didn't know about you. Well, now the clubs have got all the data. They know how you play. So sometimes you've got to twist it a little bit. And I know what people are going to say, well, Klopp didn't change for years and still work. And I get that as well. But also, Klopp had the best player in every position, in my opinion. That worked for us. For example, he had Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino, the 2 freaks in the position of a man, Mo Salah. Freaks. Like, you're so unique in terms of how they played. So, again, with that Brentford game now, it just feels like we're at the stage where we're starting to turn every game into a banana skin. And that's a really bad way you go, oh, they could do something. They could get something. No, it's like, no, you should just rock up there, beat them 3-0 and do what you should have done to Forest. By the way, we should still beat Forest. I think we had the chances to beat Forest.
We had the chances.
Really good chances. And Gakpo, the keeper's unbelievable. The keeper gets man of the match again in one of their games. So let's get the finishers back on the pitch. And if it stands, mate, then he has a month to figure it out because you've got, I think it's February the 2nd, I think, the market.
Yeah.
So if he wants to loan Dan's, at least go with him and go, you're doing Lille and you're doing PSV and take a look at him. But I just don't think he will.
Yeah. Let me flip down to the other end of the pitch. Just because I'm looking at a stat here, I just want to show. Now, is this? No, just because is this the game that Alisson got injured in? Yeah. Since he's come back from these here, he's only kept 1 clean sheet, and we really need a goalkeeper if we're struggling up front, which we have a little bit. We need the goalkeeper to be keeping clean sheets, and this is not a. Obviously he's better than Kelleher, although Kelleher is the second best goalkeeper in the division. I don't care what anybody else says. You're getting banned to the show.
I agree.
But my question is, did we maybe rush him back a little bit too quickly? Could we have held Kelleher over Suzy maybe for 2 or 3 games and eased Becker back in?
No, I think Alisson had enough time because of Kelleher. I think he was given enough. I think Alisson's reintroduction back to the team coincided with Konate being injured, and then obviously Gomez being injured. So, yeah, even though physically I think Alisson seems okay, I think mentally he's lost that sharpness over the few weeks, and it's a cause of concern. We had the best goalkeeper in the world, and we're conceding goals. Some of them, I'm not a goalkeeper, and I can't pretend to know whether he should have saved them shots or not. I just know the Alisson that we had, you just knew he was as important to that team as, Virgil and Salah and Mane and Bobby were to us. And right now, it just doesn't seem to have that aura in the box. And that, again, might just be because, Konate is not there to help Virgil. We've rotated that centre-back position about 4 times now between Gomez, Konate and Kwanzaa. So maybe with a more solid, back four or more consistent back four, we might see Allison back to his best. It's just like I say, everything's just come at a bad time, and we're talking like we've lost so many games. And all right, the Spurs game I don't really care. It was just a nothing game, I think. But I mean, it's part of that little
in the context of
fun.
it.
Yeah, in a bigger context, it's showing that we're playing our strongest teams, and something just isn't gelling. And Nottingham Forest have shown everyone else how to stop us, and we just can't break that low block.
I said a few weeks ago, I can't remember who I had an argument with on the Discord, but I've been around the block a few times in football terms. If a team is intent on not having the ball and defending, having a lot of the ball is not going to help you because you're playing right. I think, as you said, because you're playing right into the other team's hands. We talked so much about Arne Slot's tactical tweaks at the start of the season, but does he have enough of them? Because it seems to me that if a team doesn't want to have the ball, one of the best things to make them uncomfortable is to give them the ball. Let them come at you for a little bit and then play a game they don't want to have to play. In much the same way that Jack Charlton's Ireland played the game that Continental, like they were used to having 10 minutes on the ball at the back. Yeah. And then Jack Charlton came along and said, nope, we're putting you under pressure. And then just ran at players until they figured it out 10 years later, to be fair. So it took them 10 years to do it. But they were playing a game they weren't comfortable with because, Andy Townsend and Noel Quinn and Ray Houghton and John Aldridge were tearing down at you every time you had the ball. Yeah. We're playing into these teams' hands. If they figure out all they have to do is sit back and let Liverpool play 20 million passes around the halfway line, you've got a good chance of beating Liverpool. And we need to change that really, really quickly, don't we?
Yes. In terms of that, I don't think it's much about giving them the ball, Mark. I think it's more when you have the ball. When you play against a low block, you pass the ball from side to side and you miss the midfielder. So, for example, they were camped from 30 yards out. Chris Wood didn't want to know a press in his life, right? He had no interest, which is fine. That's how they want to play. So how you do it, right? You get your four midfielders, you get your strikers in the position, and you pass. And you keep running and you pass. But what you do, you don't pass 1, 2, 3, 4. You pass 1, 2, 3, and you miss a midfielder. So what happens is when it's a longer pass, someone will come out from the block thinking, I can get that. And when he doesn't get it because the pass is so good and it's rifled in, then you go bang, bang into space. And the space opens up. That's how you break a low block. And Liverpool were doing that for the last 20 minutes. That's what frustrates me. Liverpool were doing exactly what I wanted to do for the last 20. They were great. Created all the chances because Forest were getting... every Forest player was going down with cramp. They were walking off the pitch going, fucking hell, I've done some running there. Because that's what you've got to do. You've got to move the block. The first half, Mac, we were giving them the easy way out. Because you're just taking pot shots. That's what they want you to do. And that's why I found it so frustrating. I'm like, you just played into exactly what you... Literally, you made one mistake defensively. I thought Konate, say, listen, Salah could do better with the ball. Konate should get back into position. Alisson's not great for it. Virgil isn't great for it. You could argue Trent is, but I think that's harsh. And it's when there's a few lads who aren't great for the goal. It's the first shot that they've had. Bang, bang. Okay, there you go. There's the goal. Thank you. Exactly what we wanted. The goal in the first 10. And here we go. And here's our game plan. And I just found that, like, that's why I was so frustrated. So in terms of the tactical switches, I did like the one where he went to Gravenberch at the back.
Yeah.
Nuno likes to go to that 5 at the back last 20. But what he did, before he could get his 5 at the back on, and as anticipated him doing that, I'm going, well, if I do that, then I'll get that extra lad into midfield. And let's see how you react to that. Because if you go 5 at the back, there's going to be 2 midfielders, fella, and there's 5 of us. So we're just going to, you know what I mean? And your midfielders will run the legs off. Mistakes will happen and we'll create you that way. So that's why Nuno stuck. Nuno didn't twist to go to his 5. He stuck and went, fuck that, we'll carry on doing the 3 and see if we can outnumber you then. So that was kind of clever and smart. It's just like, the worst part, Mac, that's the worrying case here. They panicked when they went 1-0 down. They panicked. It's 10 minutes in. Just keep going out and go. Do the game plan. Just do exactly what you were told what to do. Move the ball, pass, side by side. Here we go. Okay, he's come out. Elliot Anderson came out, thought he could get the pass, intercept it. Because don't forget, if they intercept it, they've got a 2-on-2 with us. Expect them to score, or 3-on-2 probably. I mean, expect them to score. Elliot Anderson, a step out. Oh my God, he didn't get it. Okay, now we're in. Diaz in the small pocket. The problem is with Diaz, why it didn't work with the 9. is because his first touch wasn't great. So when you stick it into someone in the 9, when you get that little bit of space, he has to have a great first touch so he can knock it off quick and bring his midfielder back in. His touch was poor. He had a bad night again. And again, I'm his biggest doubt. But when Jota came on, the ball was sticking because he has a great first touch, or he had this little bit of space. He was getting a shot off, and you know what I mean. So he was creating his own chances. That's where the cleverness comes in to break down these low blocks. This can happen. Liverpool players know this. They know more than me, of course. But again, you are given the data now to other oppositions. You're giving the data to them. For example, if you're Brentford, you go Mbeumo, Wissa. You're going to go there. Robertson's absolutely finished. He can't run. If he plays Costas, he can't defend. Trent can't defend. Okay, we're going to play these nice and wide. We'll play our low block, and then you're our outlet balls. If they don't play like that, Brentford, they're absolutely insane. So it's going to be interesting, mate. It really is. And the manager has a lot of thinking to do. And again, we can go back to the transfer market and things like that. But he has a lot of thinking to do because we're not going to sign a player before Saturday. And we might not sign a player all window. So that's what happens.
Let me stick with that for Suzy, because Brian says, you also need smart creative players in midfield. I think that's part of it. Smart creative players.
It didn't work for so long.
They spot that pass that you're talking about when
that's where Elliot comes in. He doesn't like Elliot.
We can't figure that out because he's a good player. But do we need, I think to wrap two topics in one, Suzy, I think forget about Saturday. I think because he is, as we talked before we went on air, I don't think we're going to sign a player before the transfer window shuts.
Yeah,
but a fresh injection of a Coutinho type, somebody with a bit of magic in their boots and a bit of vision into the team could lift everybody. Is that something we need, or maybe putting trust in Harvey Elliott and saying, "Okay, son, show us what you can do, and then you'll be the main man next year." But we need some sort of shot in the arm before this becomes not just a blip, but a bloody loss of form altogether and a bottle job even.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we need a clone of Jota but in midfield because we need that intelligence. And Szoboszlai, I mean, he showed it against West Ham, but very rarely has he shown it this season. When he has the ball, he lacks ideas, creatively. I know that season when we were on for the quad and we got Diaz.
He's just the Hungarian Jordan Henderson when you think about it, really, with nice hair.
Yeah. But that season we did the quad. Well, we're going for the quad, and Mane and Salah off to AFCON. We brought in Diaz, and he injected a new lease of life for us. We just looked invincible, and we do need that. But like Hardy said, we're not getting anyone before the end of January. So we have to go with who we have. Hopefully, Chiesa can keep fit, and he's shown signs. Or that he can't, that the quality that he has, that we all know he has. He's intelligent
player. He just can't stay fit.
He's intelligent. That's it. And and he has to trust Elliot. I mean, Dan's is off. I don't think we're gonna. He's and Slott's pretty much said so. That he's going to be loaned out.
I think he'll get 2 games. Seriously, I think he's going to get a bit of Lille. I think
they're not going to be league games, but I want him for league games.
I know it's fair. But if he scores 2 against PSV away, then you go, maybe we keep him. And then maybe you do the Darwin, that could open up. But the only way that opens up, though, Sergi, you are right, is by giving them chances to open it up.
Yeah.
Give them lots of chances, and that might open another fresh idea up for you. Elliot in the 10. I think he keeps saying he wants to play in the 10. Well, he might go on against Brentford, set up 2 for you, be the best player in the pitch, and that gives you another option. But right now, you're not opening yourself up to these options. So we can sit there and say we need to sign players, and I agree, I think we need to sign the players. But also, you've got to give yourself more choice, haven't you?
We have the choices right there at his fingertips. I mean, he's pretty much said he doesn't think we need any players. I don't know whether that's just ego that he can win this league without new players or whatever. But we have all the tools. We really have all the tools. We have Elliot. We have Dan's. We have tools to just shake this team up a bit, like forward wise, and the low block. Everyone's just going to do that now. Everyone but Spurs, because Spurs don't know how to play any other way. But everyone's going to do that.
Because Brian mentions a particular soapbox you have about bringing back Bojatic so that McAllister can go in as the number 10. Bojatic shows a lot of talent. As you keep saying, he's on our books. Why isn't he here when we need bodies especially in midfield where we have a huge attrition rate sometimes. But is McAllister a lock picker? Is he somebody who plays better from deeper, or is he one of those players that can unlock a tight defense?
I think he plays more from forward for Argentina, doesn't he? It's more Enzo Fernandez and Paul, is it? That plays centre mid, and he plays in like the 10, I think.
Yeah.
So he plays further forward with Lionel Messi. Like, do you know what I mean? And he just won the World Cup. So surely that is a position that you could use him in. But again, it's going back to the other option part. Again, okay, you don't want to sign a player. Well, there's a player who can do. Endo right now is your fourth choice centre half. Yeah. Like, when you've got another lad who plays centre half as a kid, a Bajcetic, who literally came into Liverpool's midfield because he was a centre half. And he's I
just want to point out, just because I only found this out the other day, I thought it was funny. Endo started his professional career as a centre half.
Of course, but
he hasn't and it shows. He's so good at it.
I know. Like, again, but Endo's brought that into like the conversation again, because he's at least brought the centre half conversation into our domain, because we've seen him play well in the 2 games he's got, and you've seen him go, well, if he has to do PSV away and you do Endo and Kwanzaa centre half, sound. No one's asked. It's a dead rubber anyway. But again, okay, I genuinely, that's right. I think I'll be the happiest guy in the world with this board and shit like that if you just do Bajcetic and just do me a left back. Because the left back now is starting to really stick on point, and they're going to target it worse and worse. And if I'm in Wemo, mate, I'm licking my absolute lips for this weekend. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, even, you know, for example, if you go like Semenyo in a couple of weeks at Bournemouth away, you look and go, fucking hell, it looks like an R game. Do you know what I mean? Bournemouth away is an R game anyway. And then you haven't got a functional left back who's playing well. By the way, you could just take their left back and be really handy. Like, just do Kerkez and just get me Bajcetic back. And the whole squad looks like a different prospect again. It looks like, oh my God, this squad's got a lot of depth again. Oh yeah, Chiesa didn't even make the bench. Or, you know what I mean? Or Elliot didn't even make the bench because Bajcetic got on the bench. And then we all start going, fucking hell. It's just that one little bit of ingredient that you need. But the problem is, though, guys, he doesn't trust the squad. He doesn't trust them. It's the man's first season. He's going to make mistakes. I understand that. It's a learning process for the manager as well. He's going to understand all this, right? That there's a reason why Bobby Clark stuck around for Klopp, because Klopp learned it, that you need a deep squad. And you need players to come on and do you these dog minutes. Like, that's why Nat Phillips stuck around for years and Reece Williams and that. Because you just need these bodies here just in case this shit happens. The manager clearly didn't do that in the summer, and that's fine. But we're at the stage, if you didn't do a centre half in the summer, just keep Joel Matip on another year deal. Just literally re-sign Joel Matip on another extra year extension and just go, you're going to do the dog days. You're doing 10, 12 games in the next season. Do you want another contract? Yeah, lads, I can do that. I can do 10, 12 games for you and get you out of the shit. He was sitting there. Liverpool saved fucking about 400 grand a week in wage, 500 grand a week in wage. We lost Thiago. He was on 220 grand a week. Where's the money? And again, I'm not asking for £80 million Marmouches.
Maybe they amortise his medical bills.
Well, I'll tell you right now, fella, yeah. I'll tell you right now, it's not going on new contracts, is it?
No, clearly not. Clearly not.
You know what I mean? It's not going on new contracts, because this is the other part about this, gents, and I had a really good think about this. I had a 45-minute drive on my own from work today, and it came to me. Klopp said last year when he announced he was getting off in like December or November, I can't even remember.
November, yeah.
November. In his first interview that he announced he was leaving, he said, the reason why I came to this decision was, in October they were asking me about next year, and I said, I don't know about next year, and he said, I just clicked in my head that I didn't want to be here. So next year is a thing that they talk about in October, because that is a thing. Yeah. Okay. So right now, based on next year, what's your plans, lads? Because right now we have 3 fucking the best players leaving. So what is the plan for that? Never mind a left back and a Joe Gomez or a Kanata who can't get fit and a Jallo Quantrill who doesn't fancy and Alisson who's woefully out of form. Okay, the other keeper might come in with Valencia. Aren't they 18th in the league?
And he's injured.
He must be fucking great. He's only been injured 3-4 weeks. He must be fucking great. So then you look at the midfielders. We all argued that they wanted a midfielder, and I'll give the club this: they wanted a DM for 5 years. Caicedo, Lavia, Tchouameni, fucking Zubamendi. They've wanted one, so you still want one, then, don't you? Because we haven't fixed it. And then, oh yeah, Mo Salah might leave. And then, oh, by the way, Darwin Núñez is woefully out of form. And by the way, Luis Diaz is fucking, our fella is twerking for Barcelona at any chance he can get. And by the way, the other striker who's our best player is Diogo Jota. He's made out of glass. So the only one you can actually rely on is Gakpo. So what's your plans for next year then, boys? Because you keep telling me you're all geniuses. When the best summer that we ever had, and I'm on a bit of a soapbox here, but the best summer we ever had was last year when he weren't even here.
Yeah.
There's a little fucking weird fucking Jurgen Klopp's mate, your Macka, who was doing it from Ibiza on Ocean Beach with a fucking cigar in his hand and a fucking weird fucking payphone, just fucking buying football players with release clauses. And by the way, all of them have been successful. All four midfielders have been successful.
I mean, you'd almost think that would be a lesson to learn for people that love the bottom line and the Excel spreadsheet. There's value out there if you go for the players that like are coming to the end of their contract. But you have to go for them.
Right, and by the way, we can get back to the positive soon because I do want to get on it. But I just feel like, lads, you're just sleepwalking into something here. You're just literally sleepwalking into this. And every single pass, we're going to be in February in 2 weeks, and we haven't got a new contract signed for our best players. The bang lucky we're top of the league. Because if we were fucking fifth, there'd be riots. There'd be riot. The bang lucky. The manager's bought them time because we're top of everything. He's bought them fucking time. So it just seems like, oh, by the way, if you fucking lose to Brentford and draw with Ipswich, we'll see how the fucking land lies. Because that's what we are now. The season's now on a knife edge. Because that's where the fans are all going to turn. All the fans will turn. And go, fucking hell. As soon as Arsenal goes above you in 2 weeks, if touch wood, it doesn't happen, of course. But if they do go above you, then fucking hell, Mo Salah's going to get off. And then it's all, you know what I mean? It just seems, don't sleepwalk into this. And, you know, you got a window right now, lads, to do a signing. Just help yourselves. Help yourselves. Help the fans get off your back and go and do a left back. I don't know. It's mad.
So, see, let me ask you this. Is it the case? I know Michael Edwards has a more overall broad job description this time around, but there was clearly a personality clash between him and Klopp. Klopp is I hate to use the term, but he is a proper football man. He's been involved in the game since he was a teenager, and he's seen a number of things. He knows what time it is, as Flavor Flav would say. But do you think that part of Michael Edwards going that time and part of the tiredness from Klopp was having to battle people like Michael Edwards, who are, when you go to him and you get on the Cosy soapbox, you say, we need this player, this is going to happen in a year's time, and you don't even seem to realise this yet. And they're saying, well, we've got data that suggests this, and we have a spreadsheet that says this. Football's, it's a talent economy as far as I'm concerned, and you have to get the talent when it's going. And if you have it on the books, you're a fool not to keep it unless there's a better alternative. We don't see the better alternatives. There's not even rumours of better alternatives to Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Do you think these people are trying to be smarter than everybody else to the detriment of the club, and to the point that, as Cosy says, if things turn around and go badly for us, they're going to be under an enormous amount of pressure? And any club owner who saw what we did with Hicks and Gillette knows that pressure from Liverpool fans can be devastating.
Yeah, and I'm not optimistic. Part of me thinks, we've seen Edwards do this, and we think he's a genius, and we're about to build him a statue before he left. Like we've all this, getting 20 million for Ive, and
you are where.
But
I don't like the guy.
Well, now, yeah, I mean, when you look at it, and it's interesting what we say about Dan's and Bobby Clark and everything else. With Klopp, I would have taken them players because Klopp can make anyone feel like they're Ballon d'Or players, and that's what he did with our youngsters. He you look at Kwanzaa, he seemed like he was one of the best centre backs in the league last season. And these players, they won a League Cup under Klopp because Klopp made them feel that way. I think with Slot, he's a little bit more calculated and more. I think he's Edwards' ideal manager because he seems data driven as well. And it's like the passion is not as much as what Klopp was, and Klopp was intense man management, whatever you want to call it. And with Edwards, like Kaiser keeps saying, you can only be the smartest person in a room for so long, and I think Edwards is just outsmarting himself. Richard Hughes, we don't see him. We saw him once. I can't remember which game we saw him.
I think I saw him in a shampoo advert.
Yeah, like what does he do?
Shampoo.
If he's not taking care of the contracts, and I know some of us think, oh yeah, the contract's already done and whatever. there's no indication that these contracts are done.
I mean,
There isn't.
if they were, they'd be announced, wouldn't they? That's a
Yeah,
big boost to the
especially
fans.
you know, because February 3rd, if they've signed with someone, them clubs, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, if they already signed with another club, them clubs are going to let the world know that they've signed with us, or you know, or the questions are just going to keep coming up every week. Come February 3rd, you know, have you spoken to anyone or whatever? And it's just, again, like that small percentage of me thinks, you know, we're just playing games with everyone, and you know they're already signed, but there's just no indication that they have. And these rumors are going to keep coming out. Like today, there's rumors that Al Hilal have signed Virgil and Salah to a new contract, you know, to a deal, and these rumors is going to come out, and it's going to keep getting our backs, or keep getting us on FSG backs and everything. We don't need this. And this is what I was saying to Timothy in December, like, we can do without this distraction. We have enough distraction as it is. Why can't we don't need this. We just need to be behind the team. At least if they have the contracts announced, that's it. You know, we're good, you know, but we're not doing anything. Like, it's like that meme with that stick man with a stick, like, just do something. And we're not doing anything.
Let me ask you boys a question, just because it popped into my head, and I'm not sure I'm remembering it correctly. Didn't Michael Edwards, it might be somebody else, but I have a feeling that Michael Edwards was involved in a transfer pre-club in the Rodgers era, where we ended up being the only people that were looking at this player. So they went back and said, okay, we'll pay you less for this player now. We agreed 20 million, whatever, but we're going to give you 50 because nobody else is in for him. Am I remembering that correctly? I want to say it might have even been Salah when he was at
Markovic in my head, but I don't know if that's
something like that, like where we went in.
Markovic, then you should be fucking not in the job.
Well, you know, I remember that in my head because I remember thinking that's somebody who fancy, like, that would eat themselves if they were a chocolate bar. You know, somebody who thinks they're better than everybody else. You know,
yeah,
we're in the position of dominance here. Almost like Gordon Gekkoism for football transfers. You know, like, you know, look at my suit. You're trying to do a deal with me. Look at my suit. Because I just that's why I don't like Edwards. It was something like that where it was like, that guy's not going to be. He's going to ride on the coattails of somebody else's success to get his reputation, but he's going to get found out at some point.
There's a part though, gents, right? We don't want to be talking about this. I don't want to. I want to be talking about Liverpool being top of the league. It's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, but we are talking about this because every man and the dog can see Liverpool need a sign. Like, by the way, we didn't tell you to go and throw 30 million at a fucking goalkeeper to loan to Valencia last year. If you talk about that, he's a fucking tight on dough. Why would you fucking throw 30 million at a sub goalkeeper? And he fucking on loan in Valencia. Oh, but he was going. Oh, fucking stop it, will you? You know what I mean? Like, I just, it's insane how this is like working. But again, gents, and I just feel like now, I made a comment on the post match, right? And I still love when Liverpool would just do a stopgap signing. I still love when Liverpool just do an 18-month signing. It's 18 months.
Yeah.
Come on. Do you know what I mean? I always go after the Shaqiri sign. So smart, so clever. Just a clever little bit of business on the Reds there, right?
I just want to point out because we did that because even though he got stick for not signing apparently, Nicolas Anelka was a fantastic stopgap signing that season.
Yeah.
Like, that was exactly what we needed.
Make Gary McAllister for 2 years. Gary McAllister at Liverpool for 2 years.
Yeah.
Look at the fucking legend.
Yeah.
So, we even did David Speedy once.
He was great. He was for that like 6 months or whatever. He was great. But
my part always though, gents, I go after the stopgap signing here, right? And you can laugh at this all you like. I see our two left backs there, right? I don't think Costas is good enough, and I think the lad's fucking on his last legs badly. Needs to be. I love him dearly. We all do, right? But clearly the lad's struggling. You can't go and do Ben Chilwell for 6 months. Just to go, we've got a left back lined up in the summer that you want to sign. They say it's Kirk, you've done the deal with Bournemouth. Come back in the summer because we might be getting European football this year. And me letting them go, okay. You can't just go and get Ben Chilwell for 6 months to go, you can help us out. Like, you can't go and get Dewsbury Hall for 6 months. I know I'm his biggest fan, you can laugh, but you can't go and get a Dewsbury Hall as your midfielder for 6 months and go, we'll take him on loan, maybe with an option to buy, maybe. You can't go and ask the question. Like, I was
just thinking though, because apparently it's going to be a done deal, but Kieran Tierney, he's got the Celtic for literally nothing. You know what I mean? 6 month loan. You can get any move you want in the summer. Come play for us for 6 months.
Arsenal might not want to do it with us, but at least you can ask the question. You can ask the question.
Yeah.
And say, I don't want to make them stronger, which is fine. But again, I just don't think we just don't think like that. It's always got to be like, well, if it's not for fucking 20 years, we don't sign anyone. And it's like, no, lads, sometimes it's just, if you have Kirkers lined up in the summer, no problem. But right now, we just do him for 6 and take a look at Bancho's 27. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's on 35. He can still get up and down the line and look like an half-decent fullback. We're in 4 competitions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go and get a left-back in. It just seems insane to me, gents. It really does. And
I just want to point out, you've been saying Kirkers all the time. I've been thinking of Kirksey or whatever his name is from Man United. So I always get nightmares and PTSD. No, we're not signing him.
Like it goes back to the Kyle Walker thing, though. Sometimes you just know you're done.
Yeah,
he knows he's done.
Yeah,
top level. Robertson might feel the same. And you go, oh, by the way, we're still running the legs off you. And we'll run the legs off you and just keep running those legs off you. He's got, you know what I mean? Kyle Walker's walked into Pep and went, I'm done here. I can't do this anymore. Gary Neville always has that famous thing at West Brom away, doesn't he? When he walks, he gets ran around by Jerome Thomas on the wing for an hour. He gets hooked and he goes, I'm done, doesn't play ever again. And that was in like the October. And plays like dog end minutes of the season. You know you're done. Andy Robertson is a very smart, articulate fella. Wrote a book, for fuck's sake. He knows he's probably done. But you aren't even helping him. You're not even helping your legend. Get out, you know what I mean? Like, I find that, I don't know, I just find it a little bit sour, a little bit. And by the way, before you say, oh, we all have a backup left back, but he's been here for 5 years, we know he's not good enough to play week in, week out. I actually thought he played a decent spell last year for 12 games, and he got into the game. He's made, because by the way, your backup's made out of glass. So, you know what I mean? That's another frustration of mine. Your backup's made out of glass. But you just don't go and do those smart bits of business just to go, that's going to get us out of jail. You can laugh all you like, but the Ozan Kabak actually worked. It worked. Ozan Kabak's loan for 6 months worked at the time, and Liverpool finished third. It put us back in the Champions League, and then he was fucked off again because they knew we weren't good enough. We'll just do that then for 6 months. I just never don't. Just don't seem to do those type of signs anymore, which is frustrating.
Do you think? Here's my fear. Everything Cosby says, I think, is correct in terms of the philosophy. Apparently, it seems to be clever moves. What can we get our backs slapped because we saw before nobody else did moves, and not how can we help the team win? My worry is that there doesn't seem to be any sort of succession plan for the future. There doesn't seem to be. I think we would all be okay knowing Salah is leaving at the end of the season if we had an Erling Haaland level player coming in, somebody who everybody knows is going to explode, and we've got him. That would be the kind of move that I think everybody would be okay with Salah leaving. But there isn't even a hint of it. I mean, we're going to end up with Ashley Young.
And that's just it. I mean, if Edwards was in charge last season, we wouldn't have Endo. It's that's what it's like. We're trying to buy players, or Edwards and you are trying to buy players with a good resale value, like 4 or 5 years from now. And I think that's why we bought.
And then don't sell them anyway.
Like we bought Marmalade for 35 million. That's our I guess that's our trigger point. Because Man City were looking for a keeper, and we bought him from under the nose of Man City. And if it works out, or if it doesn't work out, we're probably selling for 50. But Man City stole a march on us and got Marmoush, who would have been, I don't want to see Salah leave, but he's like, he's a good replacement for Salah. Like, obviously he's not going to get the numbers that Salah's got, but we just don't know. But we just, like I said, they're looking at these players like commodities, and they're not looking at success for the club. And time again, we've seen Klopp bail this club out, and now Slot again is bailing this club out. It's not what Edwards on use. I can't fathom what he does for this club. There's no indication of what he's doing for us. I mean, with Bournemouth, we heard he was great at Bournemouth, and he did this and he did that, but we're yet to see any of it. And we bought a 12 million player who's made out of glass, and that's supposed to pacify us. It just, none of it makes sense.
The thing is, though, as well, the Richard Hughes thing, right? And again, we don't know what he does, and says he's correct. We have no inkling, right? At least the club aren't just fucking prepping David Ornstein to release statements saying how amazing he is, like he did in the summer. Because, like, I was told in the summer, and all fans, by the way, Liverpool fans all said, those contracts won't go past January. It's January the 16th, gents.
Yeah.
And those players can talk to other clubs, foreign clubs, without the club even knowing. I find that bizarre. At a football club at the level of Liverpool, I find that bizarre.
I would go so far as to say criminally negligent.
It's neglect. It's literally neglect. It's criminal. You shouldn't have a job for letting that happen. Like that, I can think that my captain is sitting down negotiating a contract with another club as Liverpool is sitting at the top of the league and top of the Champions League. That's in my head. Liverpool's greatest winger, he can sit down right now and talk to other football clubs. Liverpool's greatest scouser since Steven Gerrard is sitting down talking with Real Madrid. Why? And by the way, because they're asking for too much money. You know what, lads? You got yourself in this position. So you know what you have to do? You need to eat shit and like the taste. Because that's what you're going to have to do. Because I tell you right now, those players hold all the cards. Every single card you dealt them. And before anyone says, yeah, but you know, they were waiting for Klopp to go and Klopp this and Klopp that. And you know, I wouldn't sound. They should have been done the summer before Klopp announced in November. They all should have been done then. All three of them should have been done then, before the Klopp even got to November. So yeah, as soon as Klopp announced, I would wait as well. I would want to see what Arne Slot was about. I would want to see if Liverpool were going to be fighting for trophies. Well, now they are. Well, if we're fighting for trophies, okay, we're fighting for trophies. Yeah. Well, I'm the guy who scores the goals. I'm the guy who keeps them out, and I'm the fucking guy who creates them. So guess what? You're going to pay us for that. It's just absolutely absurd. But again, Liverpool are still top of the league, and we should hopefully remember that. And it is buying this club time. It's buying them time. But tell you right now, in 2 weeks, I tell you what, if there's 3-4 days of the window left and Arsenal sitting top of the league, you'll fucking feel the burn, fellas. Because, you know, even like the local fans will be starting to turn on you. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that myself. That this is buying you time. Well, fucking sort it out then.
Now, let's compound things a little bit, because we do at some point need to talk about this little dealie. We'll be playing Brentford on the weekend, but
nice.
Let's just say, Susie, because he's a man who like every scouser I've ever met in life, and more so the women for some reason. I don't know what it is about the women in Liverpool. It's probably why they're like on top of my sort of, or they were on top of my tree of preferred women. But the attitude is always wearing their heart on their sleeve. That's what that's what scousers are known for. You know, very emotional people. But if we are to lose this game against Brentford, with everything we've just talked about, and if we're talking about other Liverpool fans all over the world, and especially in Liverpool are talking about it, this could go very sour for FSG very, very quickly, because we loved them when they came in, and we've loved them periods since then, but we've also had questions about them. So, I mean, it's almost coming to a head, isn't it? Like if things fall apart, and it will start at Brentford if it does. I think if we lose this game, I think that's the start of that trend. It's going to become very, very hairy very quickly for FSG. So this game really is, as Cosy said at the very beginning of the show, it's probably the biggest game of the season unless we get to the Champions League final.
And for us as fans, definitely, and for players it is. But it just feels like there's a gap between the playing staff and the admin staff. I mean, it just doesn't, you know. And I don't think FSG cares. I mean, they've ridden worse storms than this. You know, we saw the World Cup season, and we were crying out for midfielders. You know, we kept thinking that Bellingham was going to join and stuff. We're like, we didn't sign anyone. You know, again, you know, we got Gakpo, but it's. But that was it. It was, you know, and FSG again, I think we'll just try and ride out this storm. And, you know, and I think, well, we didn't expect to win the league this season. So, you know, if you come in the top four, that's good enough for them. And I think that's all that matters. Because they haven't shown anything otherwise. And they will know that they will just keep on making profits for us. You know, we'll still keep getting record revenues and whatever else we get. But it just seems a big disconnect between fans and the players are being on one side, and then admin and whoever, backroom, boardroom staff and so forth, they just seem to be like, oh no, I mean, they can't be oblivious to what's going on. Like everyone sees it. It's in all the newspapers, it's all Sky Sports, everything. Like these contracts, something needs to be done. I cannot believe that they haven't, if you to believe Salah, that no one's approached him. I just cannot believe that hasn't happened.
Of course they have. David Beckham's probably approached him for Inter Miami, because what a fucking signing he will be for Inter Miami. You know what I mean? Mo Salah already has a mural in New York. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is a massive footballer. That's another global star. And of course, a Muslim player going to Inter Miami, playing with Lionel Messi and that. And if I'm getting to Mo Salah's stage, I'll be like, do you know what? Fuck these. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just treat me with, like, I want this and that's that. Like, you place yourself into this position. But again, it's not even about, and going back to like the overall structure, Liam, right? The contract thing, right? Of course, it's very naive, it's silly, but I don't think Liverpool fans are asking you to go out and spend 300 million. I just don't want to be left short in positions. I keep saying this. Again, if you just don't do a Perisic and do Ben Chilwell on loan, I go, all right, okay, at least you've done something to fucking try and fix something. Ben Chilwell will get me out of jail for 6 months, and Perisic is a young up-and-coming player who showed he can play for Liverpool Football Club at a high level. So he was Liverpool's best midfielder for at least the span of 20 games that I've seen. So, okay, you must have a big plan in the summer, but that doesn't mean you don't stop. You don't continue now. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean like you just don't. Okay, it's all over and it's all done. Do you know what I mean? I just find it incredibly naive, Macka, I really do.
Do you think the players have this stuff on their mind? And if so, do you think it's going to affect even a game against? I'm not going to decry or denigrate Brentford. I think I like Thomas Frank as a coach. He's doing a great job with them. They are a very dangerous team. Mm-hmm. They're a team that mentally you probably need to be more on top of your game than tactically. But if the players are thinking the same way we're thinking, like, are we going to have these three next year? These games become even harder, don't they?
Well, why wouldn't they? Like, I remember a famous interview when Fabregas left Arsenal. He said they just weren't investing, so I didn't think they could win the Champions League. And that's what he said. That's the reason why he left Arsenal. So there's also players. Listen, if you're sent and you're going to commit your career to Liverpool, or all but your career to Liverpool, you want to know that the club is going to be fighting for everything for the next 5 to 10 years. Like, that's what you want to know. And the way you do that is improve the squad. Listen, mate, the footy players are more knowledgeable than us. They also know when they're looking at their left back going, fuck me, he's struggling, Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Gravenberch and McAllister going, fuck me, we could do some bodies in here, couldn't we? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just me and you getting our legs ran off us consistently. You know what I mean?
Like, even still, like, nobody's, like, even from the players' point of view, nobody's asking for the world. We're not asking for them to splash out on Mbappe. Like, any improvement to the squad is going to make everybody go, okay, right, they are serious,
Exactly. And again, I go back to just what I just said there. If they would have just pulled Perisic back and give me a Ben Chilwell loan for 6 months, I'll go, all right, yeah, sound. You've got a big plan in the summer. You don't want to ruin your plans in the summer. You don't want to overpay for Kirkers right now, or you don't want to overpay for your centre mid that you've identified. No problem. But hey, lads, we've got a chance to win the league, We have a chance to win the Champions League now. I keep saying this. Next year, everyone goes, well, they'll have a big summer. Yeah, but don't think Man City will. Man City are having a big January and they've had a big summer. Man City are trying to rebuild right now. Arsenal linked with Zubimendi, that looks like it's going to happen. They're trying to do it right now, ready for next year. You don't think they're going to be better? This is only chance to win the league. Only chance, because everyone else sleptwalked. And he just kind of came in and goes bang, bang. And then before you know it, by the way, City go out and sign a Tchouameni. Fucking Marmoush is a great player. Sign 3 or 4 players, and you go, fucking hell, City, you're going to get 95 points again. You have, but the opportunity is now. Strike while your iron's hot. I don't get it. Strike now. Put the fear into Arsenal and go, fuck me. Let's just say you want to do a big player. Put the fear into Arsenal and go, fuck me, they just signed him. Now. They're ready then. Like, they want to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're fucking hell. Okay, you sold Nunes for 80 million. You just put a 90 million pound bid in for Isaac. Jesus Christ, they're ready to go, aren't they? I understand we don't do those type of signings. And going back to Serzi's point before about they wouldn't sign Endo, they wouldn't sign Szoboszlai. They wouldn't have paid the release clause. Liverpool had to pay the release clause on the last day of the release clause. They literally had to pay it up front to get Szoboszlai in. They tried to negotiate it. They said no for 6 weeks. And then eventually just paid it anyway because that was the player that they wanted. They wouldn't have done that. So let's stop being smart. Let's stop being, again, and look with your eyes sometimes, not the spreadsheets, that Mo Salah is the best player in the world. So sign him.
And it's not just rebuilding a team and we're going to have a big summer of new players. We've got contracts that we need to renew. You can't do these three. Then you've got Konate, Gravenberch, McAllister, Gakpo, Jota. Like, what are you going to do? Like, do all these in one summer? You can't even get the three that we need for this year.
Konate's got 18 months left.
Yeah.
Laughing his balls off. He's go ahead, lads. He's go in there, keep getting that extra dough, fellas. Then I'm going to go and do mine because I'm going to want what he wants. And then, by the way, if I'm Gravenberch, I'm sitting down going, hey, see my 60 grand a week that I'm on? Yeah. I want a one in front of it. Why? Because I'm your fucking best midfielder. I'm your most important midfielder.
And a good central defender as well.
This is what I'm saying. This is how it snowballs. Robertson's got 18 months left. Make a decision on Robertson now. Ready? If you want to go back to Celtic for 10 million quid, send them back there. Celtic have just loaned Tini today, haven't they? I think. So clearly they need a left back. So why didn't you just try? I'm not saying sell Robertson now, but in the summer go to Celtic, take him. If you want him back, he'll do a great job in the Scottish League for you, but you would. So I just feel like we're just sleepwalking again. It just feels like we've been in this position many times where Liverpool are flying, and you just do that extra one. And I'm not asking for £1,800 million football players, but don't leave me short. I don't care how much you spend on them. I don't care. Just get them. So I look and go, well, he's an option who's ready to play. If you sign a midfielder, Mac, and he costs 5 million or 50 million, do you care as long as he's ready to play and he's a good level for Liverpool? Because I don't. I don't care. But right now, you're not even showing me that. So it's just, again, I just hope we beat Brentford because, my God, it's the biggest game of the season, Mac. It's going to stand.
Let me say, how are we going to do that? Because I think you called it. I think they have a plan that could hurt us. So what way do we line up against Brentford this weekend?
Has to be Jota, doesn't it? I think probably Costas. Like I feel sorry for Robertson.
I mean, it probably would have to be Costas, wouldn't it? Just for the alone.
Who's doing Lille? Yeah. Who's doing Lille? That's what I'm saying. Who's doing the Lille game? Who's playing left back? Because I don't know. Oh, well, Robertson can do Lille. Why are you doing them against Lille now? So this is what I'm saying. This is the hard part of the manager. Because the manager has that big fucking side of the problem now, which is now turned into a problem. I think he does Costas. I think he'll do Jota. I think he has a really big decision on one of the midfielders. I think he will do Szoboszlai. But I think he has a big decision probably on Szoboszlai if you want to do Elliot. There's a part there at Forest Guards where he does 4 up front for 15 minutes. And he looks at 4 up front. He's done it before in previous games. I can't really remember, but he's definitely done 4 up front before and looked at it. And he might
did against Fulham. Yeah.
Fulham, yeah. He goes to Fulham and he's down to 10 and does 4, doesn't he? So maybe he looks at that, you know what I mean? And then it's Konate, Van Dijk, Trent. Did he do Trent? Yeah. Do Bradley against Lille. Bradley does 90 against Lille. Probably.
Do you think, Susie, do you think Slot is looking at this game the way we're looking at it? Do you think the scales has fallen from his eyes a bit and he's looking at this game like we are, that this is a bloody huge game and it's a big 3 points. We have to be convincing in it. Maybe not the scoreboard, but we have to look like the form is on an upward trend.
No, I think the result. I think the performance. Forget the performance. I think he.
Yeah, I'm the same on this one.
I think like with us, just get the result. Yeah. Just stop the rot. Stop everyone talking. Just stop. There's a crisis in our club. We just need the points. I don't care if we win this 5-4 or 10-9 or whatever it is. We just need to get a result. And I think Slot will be like that. He just wants to stop the rot. Just get a league win.
I agree. I just think the booster will give. I think the booster will give Arsenal an R5 at home if Liverpool don't win. Fuck me, the booster will give them, mate. They'll whack Villa if they do that. If Liverpool don't win, they'll whack Villa. Do you know what I mean? Like under the lights, Emirates, it'll be horrible. Fucking 15-minute corners. Do you know what I mean? Just like a disgusting place to go, and Villa won't have it. Do you know what I mean? By the way, Villa went there last year and beat them, cost them the league basically. But and Villa are a good outfit. But I just feel like that'll be the boost that they need, and we shouldn't give anyone a boost anymore. I don't want to give any of the teams a look in. I wanted to kill Forest and just go to Forest. You're none of our business. Get back to your top 4 race. But now Forest are kind of our business. So you know what I mean? Arsenal have forced them way into being our business. I don't want these teams to be our business anymore. And the way you do that, and I'm with Cersei, by the way, but I do think we need a performance massively. But if you offer me a fucking scabby ass 1-0 right now, I'll take it.
Cersei, give me a score prediction. After that, let me preface that because I did the EPL panel show last night. Glenn, who's the Brentford fan, the only Brentford fan in Iowa, he reckons it's going to be a scoring game. Both teams are going to be scoring goals. Both teams have flaws at the back or injuries at the back or whatever. That means that you can't bet on a clean sheet. What he said was he doesn't know what the score will be, but he knows it's not going to be 0-0. Would you concur?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at players like Mwembo and the other one, I can't remember his name. Like they attacking is like, I'd love to have Mwembo in our team. It'll be excellent for our team. I think it'll be 3-2. And it's prior to December, we had one of the best defenses in Europe. I mean, we just can't stop conceding goals. So I think it'll be 3-2. But like I said, I'll take any win, even if it's an own goal. I'll take it.
Because are you the same?
Complete opposite. 1-0 Liverpool. I think it'll be scabby and horrible. I think, by the way, Liverpool could do with a 1-0. We could do with a scabby and horrible, to be honest. I don't want to be an entertaining game. I don't want to. The team who wins the league, gents, are not the great entertainers. Yeah. They're not first on match of the day. They're not. They just go out and do business. That's why I was so happy with all those 2-0s we were getting early on in the year. Because they just go out and just beat them 2-0. And just, you know what I mean? I've had enough of being the back page. I've had enough being a talking point. I've had enough. I just want to go back to win it. Just win the game 1-0 and have a scabby ass Jota goal on the 73rd. Make us sweat a bit. You know what I mean? And I don't care. Make it a nothing game. I want to look back at this game in 3 years and go, what was that again? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to look back into a big entertaining 3-3 or something. 4-3, fuck off. Just win a game 1-0, will you? And just fucking leave us alone. Just like, keep a clean sheet. Show me you can do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Keep it clean. Show me the fucking fire again from the first minute. Show me that you're going to dominate. Show me that you want to win a battle in the first half. Win a battle. Because you don't even win your battles in the first half. Spurs ran all over you. It's one of the worst Spurs teams I've ever seen. And I've seen some poor Spurs teams. They ran all over you. Like, win a battle, lads. Like, it's so frustrating. It really is, because you've worked so hard to put yourself in this position. Don't give it up now. Don't give it up now because you don't want to fucking run through a brick wall. Do you know what I mean? Don't do that. I want Mo Salah to walk off and go, I fucking ran that left back all over the gaff there today. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what the biggest, and I know you're going to ask for like a star performer kind of thing, right? If you are. Whoever starts left wing, play well. I don't care who he does, if it's Diaz or play fucking well. And by the way, that doesn't mean scoring a goal. That means doing another job, i.e. winning your battle against the right back.
Winning battles. Yeah.
Holding the ball up. Gakpo was so bad against Forest. So bad. Control the ball. Because when you're baiting a press and sending a 60-yarder to get us on the front foot, control the ball with a good first touch. That's what a good, you know what I mean? It's the small things, lads, that we need to start getting back to. Winning your battles. And if you win your battles, you win games.
That's such an unusual thing, though, as well, for Gakpo, isn't it? Because his touch is usually quite good.
Yeah.
Especially from that cross play.
He was poor against Forest. But I don't think Diaz helped him. I thought Diaz was coming too narrow to him as well and didn't give him the space. Because every time he tried to cut in, Diaz is standing there going, hi! And you're like, lads, you're meant to be running in the box so we can do that little dink cross back to over to the back post. That's why that doesn't work. And that's why it affects Salah's run. Because Salah's like, do I go here? Do I go to that back post and give him that option? Because if I do, there's 4 big, massive Forest players and on me. Do you know what I mean? I need someone else to entertain. So that's where that doesn't work. So just get Jota on the pitch and see what we can do.
Does it matter who's in midfield then in that case?
I think it does. In terms of, I think he'll do Szoboszlai. He's another one. He frustrates the hell out of me because
he needs to have a big game. He needs to have a big game.
Says he, I know I give him some stick. Jesus Christ, mate. You're 6'3", built like a house. Win a battle.
Yeah.
Win your midfield battle. I want all the midfielders being in a game, the opposite number to you. The number 6 is thrown around the park. Like, win a battle, man. It's just like Elliot Anderson was the best player on the pitch, literally from both teams, I thought. For 70 minutes, Elliot Anderson was unbelievable. Why is he the best player on the pitch? So Bosley should be fucking disappointed with himself walking off, going, I haven't laid the glove on that kid there. Do you know what I mean? And by the way, and I know it feels like we're digging these players out, Matt, because it's important. It's because we know they have the physical attributes. We know.
Well, I was about to say, like, it seems to me an awful lot of the time, fairly regularly this season, that the only midfield player we have that actually challenges for anything is Endo, and he's the smallest midfielder we have almost, apart from Elliot.
And Gravenberch looks goosed. He looks like he's a yard behind when he first came in. By the way, completely understandable. Understandable. You haven't kicked the ball in 2 years. Win your battle. Again, I love it, by the way. I think it was after the Spurs game, Slot mentioned it, that he shouldn't have brought Canate on. And he kind of alluded to it a little bit in his pre-match presser for Forest. I think it was Forest. And he said, Endo's been great. He plays in any position for me. I kind of, I should have just left him where he was for Forest. Like, he acknowledged that he made a mistake and should have done Canate. Because Endo was doing so well there. But again, you win your midfield battles. It's called the engine room for a reason, isn't it? It's called, like, the most important part of the pitch is the midfield three. Win it. And I just haven't seen us win a really good 90-minute midfield battle in a long time, and I'd really like to do that again.
It's only called the engine room when Joe Cole isn't playing in it, I think. Sure.
Yeah, that's a very much broken down engine.
So with that said, let's wrap things up. Make sure that you are liking and subscribing and tapping or smashing the like buttons on the social medias, the Instagrams, the X formerly known as Twitter, Blue Sky, Mastodon, ELO, Facebook, YouTube, Bebo, MySpace, and GeoCities, if you're that old like me. That's how old I go. But big thank you to Kazi and big thank you to Sir Z. There's no morning coffee show tomorrow morning, but keep an eye out for a pre and a post match on Saturday. I think Saturday we're playing. A nice proper 10 o'clock a.m. for me. Kick off 3 o'clock over there. Yeah, 3 o'clock over there.
Tuesday morning for me and Susie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Last Tuesday morning. But thank you for all the comments from everybody. We love to see it, and we love to see it in the Discord channel, and we love to see you following us because that's how you get more mentality and stupidity and donuts that you get on the Thursday night show. Thanks, Brian. And we will hopefully have Brian better soon enough from the ailments that everybody's. We're getting snow up here in New England, so I probably won't be here for the next 2 weeks because it'll still be digging it out. But for everybody else, have a great weekend. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the game. Up the Reds. Here's the funky music.